All right, guys, so this is going to serve as your book club week 2 lesson that I am going to deliver to you to help you out with what you'll be working on this week while you're reading your book club books. So this week's going to look a lot like last week did, although there is obviously a focus change on what we're going to be charting when we're taking our notes while we read. This week, our main goal to learn and to be thoughtful about is the idea that the author not kind of even, the author is who is going to be the person who guides your thinking during reading. So I wrote a little note up here at the top and I said, don't forget, the author is always in charge while you're reading. Rarely does a reader end up developing opinions or ideas about a character that the author didn't lead you to believe, okay? That's the kind of cool thing about being an author is all of a sudden you're in charge, right? The author is the person who gets to create this world. Whatever they want the world to look like, it looks like. However they want the character to act, they act like that. Likewise, they also are in charge of guiding you as the reader to think about things the way they want you to think about it. This kind of makes me think back to when we were talking about argument essays. That was your job, wasn't it? You had to lead your reader to believe the way that you wanted them to believe. So you very much, you as an author of an argument essay, had the same type of job that even an author of, say, a fiction book might have, because they're in charge of making sure that their reader thinks like they want them to think. If they want you to hate a character, you will hate a character, and they will do different things to make sure that that happens. I kind of wanted to add a little bit of a visual because as I was talking through this lesson before I started recording today, I thought about the fact that the author is almost like a puppeteer and you as the reader are the puppet. And I know that that sounds almost like insulting, but I kind of just made a little joke about it here. And here's a little cartoon to help you think about it, okay? The author up here says, I'm going to write with various techniques to be sure you like this character and feel bad for him. Mwahaha. And then underneath that, the reader down here, the person who is being controlled by the puppeteer thinks, I really like this character, and I think that what is happening to them is really unfair and sad because I know what they've been through. Wait, what? That's kind of a joke, obviously, because we were kind of insinuating there that the author led you to think those things. The author wanted you to feel bad. The author wanted you to like that character, so you did. And now we're going to talk about how the author does that. And that's what you're going to focus on this week, is tracking instances where the author is taking control of your thinking, okay? Here's a little chart that you can refer to for steps in this process. It says how to study authors' craft, how to study how authors craft characters for the readers. And we see that the reader has to first start considering different windows to the soul. We'll call it that. It sounds very dramatic that way. But I want you to start thinking about it, guys. When you're reading along, there are certain moments when you read that you're like, oh, I feel like I just learned something new about this character. Or, oh, wow, that makes a lot more sense now that I know that. I know we've all had moments like that. Those we're going to refer to as windows to the character's soul, okay? It's where the author gives you a glimpse of what makes that character tick, right? So from there, you're going to find those moments, and then you're going to start paying really special attention to the tiny moments, okay? The details of that particular moment where you felt like you learned something, and see exactly what it is that you're learning. What are the details about who this character is? You're going to continue from there by investigating author techniques, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And you're going to really start to consider, how is your opinion changing? How is your perspective on this character or this event or whatever is happening in the book? How are you changing along the way? You may adjust your thinking as you go, but remember, this is all on purpose. The author is doing this. They are using techniques, right, to make you change your perspective and see and really just create a picture of who this character is in your own mind as a reader, but it's guided by the author because the author uses certain techniques, because the author is using those techniques to reach a certain goal. Their goal is to make you think or believe or feel a certain way when you're reading their book. Breaking those techniques and goals down a little bit more, I added a couple of charts here, and both of these charts are attached to the work that you're going to be doing this week. So I've kind of got these charts actually copied all over the place. It's on my example, it's on the sheet that you'll download into Notability to finish. So they're everywhere, but this is going to be a really good starter list for you, okay? These are all techniques, just like we were talking about up above. These are techniques that an author uses, and most of these are very straightforward. We've got flashback and flash forward. We've got multiple plot lines. We've got inner thinking and dialogue, revealing action. So when the character actually does something that makes you think a certain way. There might be different points of view that they point out, the narration, maybe sometimes you feel like the reader knows more than the character, like the character's in the dark about something. And then they've got things like description and metaphor and tone and symbolism. All of these things are techniques we ourselves as writers have practiced this year in class. But now I want you to turn it around and look at an author. Instead of talking about your own writing this time, we're talking about Lisa Graff's writing, okay? So you're going to be trying to determine, what is she doing? What are the techniques she's using to get her point across? And then you'll go out there to the goals. The goals chart is very similar to the techniques because it just like lists things, okay? It lists the different goals that an author might have. Things like giving you that background information, introducing the characters and their motivations. There's empathy in here. An author, if they want you to feel empathy for their character, they have to craft that in the words of their story to lead you there, okay? Create the setting, build the mood, set up a problem, raise the stakes, okay, or build suspense. That's where you start having a lot of momentum in your story. And then there at the end, you've got, the authors, they want you to start predicting things and seeing things flashing forward yourself and seeing what the possibilities are, or really making sure that they're weaving that theme back through there like we've done in our own writing. And then, of course, building up towards that resolution. All of these are things the author is going to want to do. It's goals that the author needs to get to, that they want to reach as they're telling their story. So just as a reminder, guys, here, I'm going to post all of these charts up on Schoology so that you have them to reference and you can go back to. But I want you guys to really start thinking about this here, okay? You've got steps to this. You've got a chart. It has 3 columns. There are, if you think about it, there's the first column, the second column, and the third column in there. And I believe there's 1, 2, 3 boxes for each one, right? So think about that. I am going to be having, this is 2 points per box here, 1 point per box in the middle column, and 2 points again per box on the last one. And in order to get those 2 points on that first and that third column, guys, I want you to truly write with detail. The example that I'm going to show you in a minute is a really good example of the type of writing I'm looking for, and I want you to pay attention to the different things in the boxes that are specifically telling you what you're supposed to include in there, and I want you guys to pay attention to that and not leave stuff off. But I'll show you that in a minute. But remember, your steps are, you're going to look for these window moments, okay? Moments that are like a little glimpse into who the character is. Then you're going to start identifying author techniques to show you those window moments. How did the author do it? And then this is going to be your why. Why did the author use that technique to show you that window moment? Okay, so why? What was their goal? Did they use the technique to show you this window goal? All right, think about those things from here to here to here. Okay. And then after that, once you've determined those things, guys, you are going to write about it. You're going to put that in that chart, which is attached through Schoology. And I'll show you my example here really quickly because I don't want this video to go too long. But you'll notice here, there is writing here, guys. They're putting down specific examples in here, okay? I've got the description of the event here, but then I've also got a quote and a page number. I've got 3 different techniques there, and then this goal. This is your thinking. Why did the author, why do you think that the author used that technique? What were they trying to show you, okay? Did that 3 different times, 3 different little window moments. So your window moments go in this first column here. Your techniques go here, and the goals go here. And please, guys, take your time, do some good writing, and try to use complete sentences so I can see your ideas completely planned out and understand them, okay? If you've got questions, guys, hit me up. I will be here.